Hi everybody, Adam here. Welcome back to our Lego room. Today's video, we're going to be focusing on the city portion of the tabletop layout. We're going to be looking at both the city buildings and roadways around them, as well as some of the lighting work that we've been doing on this part of the layout. We have been focused on other parts of the Lego room and the Lego layouts, and really looking to get back into the city part of the layout here, make a number of improvements. So today's video is kind of a kickoff to that work, and just kind of a refresher for you guys and for myself on where we're at with various projects in the Lego City. So lots to cover. Let's dive in and get started. Now, one of the key things to take note of here in the Lego City is that wherever possible, we've been working on integrating lighting into the Mills modules for new modular buildings with an eye towards, getting the foundation in a good place where we can then continue to add additional lighting on second and third floors as time permits and as parts permit. So you'll notice the boutique hotel here, kind of the perfect example case of this. We've got lighting on the third floor, the second floor, and on the ground floor there. Love adding all of the lighting to these buildings, makes it a lot easier to appreciate all of the details inside them. And then if we come next door to the police station here, you can see ground floor, it's got lighting. We've got the lighting out on the street corner there with the lampposts. We have lighting on the second floor, but we don't have the parts yet for integrating lighting on the third floor, at least in a way that makes it easy to still remove the modular floors. That's another key point here. I've been using the Brick Stuff lighting products and using their lighting parts that let you pull off the floor. It basically disconnects two bricks that are transferring the power through from floor 2 to floor 3 there. So the floor comes off. All the wires are nicely tucked inside each floor. There's nothing tethering floor 3 to floor 2. So that's what I've been using there. And, we will, as time permits and as parts permit, go through and fill in these extra floors. But for now, having the bases all wired up just makes it a lot easier to come along later and add additional lighting as, we feel like we've got the parts to take care of that. And again, over here with the Jazz Club, you can see the main floor nicely lit, and we just need to come back and light floors 2 and 3. This is another one that really drives home, I think, the value in those extra lights on the other floors. You can't really see inside here or appreciate the coolness of these upper windows on the Jazz Club when everything is dark inside. So looking forward to updating those. But the short-term projects here, we obviously are going to work on adding some additional buildings here to the city part of the layout, but we do really want to make sure we're getting all of that lighting and basically power integration into the bases. And with that comes also updating our pre-existing modular buildings that have not been transferred to Mills modules yet. All these ones in the back. If we can move over just a little bit there. Yeah, now, so all these ones in the back, they are just on base plates and they are sitting on top of Mills modules, but they have not been transferred over to Mills bases. So that's going to be, we've got the two kind of pushes here in the city. It's going to be adding additional modular buildings, adding just general city modules to the layout, but also going back and finally getting everything converted over to Mills so that we are working from a common foundation with all of our new buildings and all of our pre-existing ones. And with that, as I make my push to really work through the sorting here in the room, I want to, there's a few spots. You can see obviously the town hall here. When we first moved all of our Lego from where we were living before to this new house, everything got taken apart, some things fell apart. I really need to get these back up and sort of back to their former glory. So as we're doing the push on sorting parts out, really want to make a push to get these buildings finished off as well and get everything whole again so that we can appreciate the buildings in their sort of perfect state. And with that, there's a few other ones that we've had in a partial build state for a while. So lots of fun projects, I think, to get, not only things moving in a completely Mills direction, but really starting to finish off a number of loose threads over here on this part of the layout. Now, before I turn the lights on, because it's going to be a little easier to walk around and to see things, just want to do a couple quick passes here so that you can see how the city looks from a few different angles with the current lighting. I am still a really big fan of the Brick Stuff light lampposts. We've got a ton of them on both city streets, but really happy with those and looking forward to getting them fully sort of integrated into the Mills modules around the city and, continuing to finish off the roadways and sidewalks that they are going to be integrated with on the outer edge here. Just looping back here. Really going to be nice to get lighting integrated into the back portion of the city there. And some extra lighting that I'd like to try with the Avengers Tower too. I think the Marvel DC section of the layout, definitely some cool possibilities and opportunities when it comes to lighting. So I think the Avengers Tower will be a good early test case there. But some other buildings coming in the near future to that portion of the layout there that I think would be good candidates for extra lighting above and beyond, street level lighting and some basic interior lighting. So looking forward to that there as well. But I am going to now turn the lights on in the room completely so it's a lot easier to see and go through some of the other details here. Couple other quick things to note though before I do that. Really love the street lights that we have from Brick Stuff. In general, all of our lighting around the city and the layout in general is all from Brick Stuff. Really big fan of their lighting products. And we will talk more about lighting in the coming days. Really got a number of cool lighting products from Brick Stuff that I want to push through integrating not only into the city, but into the sort of landscaping countryside, as well as the industrial area that we have in the layout. So some cool stuff to go through there. But, really love these extra details. The lampposts, awesome. The lights inside the building's really cool, but also fun to have these extra details like the street lights that go through their progression. And there's a few other things that I'm hoping to get integrated, like I said, not only into like the Avengers Tower, but I think some lighting integrated into the wind turbines down there would be an extra nice touch for them as well. So let's turn the lights on so that we can take a look at the rest of the city and some of the things that we're going to be working on. Now, with the room lights back on, before I turn the power off for the lights throughout the city there, two things to note. So currently we have power coming from battery packs right there and right over there. One of the things as we're going through and doing this push to get more modular buildings integrated into the city and lighting throughout everything, I'm going to subdivide the lighting blocks more aggressively. We'll see how fine-grained we do, but currently those two battery packs are taking care of everything from one end to the other on the city layout. And I'm guessing that we're going to go to probably at least 4 to 6 battery packs when it's all said and done. And we're going to make the push that we've talked about for a little while to get all of those battery packs and sort of power situations moved so that they are on the edge of the interior part of the layout there. I'd like everything sort of powered from the edge and the power fanning out into the layout from there. So that'll be a big push as we do that. One of the other things that will enable us to do, we've got the lighting on the track in behind where the brick bank is sitting at the moment. Want to have that be, rather than just the sort of the one-off case there, I want more situations like that with lighting around the track area, whether it be track signals or other sort of extra bits of light around scenes or sort of buildings, etc. on the track. I just want to make sure that we're really starting to fan power out to all corners of the layout for the ability to hook up lights wherever and whenever we want to. So gonna unplug those power sections now, but that gives you kind of an idea. Like I said, we will talk more about power in an upcoming, or power and lighting, I guess, in an upcoming video. We'll go through more sort of holistically the different Brick Stuff products we're using, the different things that we're going to start integrating in over here. But this is obviously something that's a big consideration as I work through city projects. So I wanted to give you guys a little overview of that. So let's unplug the power there and continue to talk about what we're going to be working on over in the city. So as we look through the city here, there are several different categories of projects that we're going to be working on. As I mentioned, we've got the older modular buildings in the back here that I want to get mounted onto Mills modules, get those wired for power, and fixing up things where we're missing a few pieces, things kind of broke in transit. Want to get all of that nicely tidied up so that we are working from a common foundation throughout the city. So as we go through and do that, I will walk you guys through the way that we're powering these Mills modules currently. So that'll be an upcoming video. we'll walk through the powering of a module, so you can see the interior of that and see what we're setting up for these modular buildings in particular. But it gives you a good sort of reference point for what all of the bases of the modular buildings will look like across the city here. With that, we've also got the Chili's over here, which has been hanging out for far too long in an incomplete state. I really want to make a push here to get that finished off. And with that, we've got the Green Grocer and the corner hotel build that I want to finish off. Two really awesome modular buildings that we were able to pick up a number of years ago now, but have kind of transitioned around, moved from place to place in bins, and we need to get that finished off so that we can see those and appreciate them in all of their glory here. And with that, we also talked about we've got the Avengers Tower, obviously, here in the back part of the city. Really want to finish off the Daily Bugle. We've got the X Mansion in behind there. This is going to become call it the superhero corner of the city. Most of the buildings, at least initially, are probably going to be Marvel focused, but I would like to get some DC buildings in there as well. So we will be shifting things around as these older modulars get onto Mills modules. They're likely going to move down at least a few blocks down the city there to open up some extra space here so that we can work on getting all of the Marvel structures in here. And contemplating, I haven't purchased it yet, but I really think the now the name is going to escape me. The DC, let me look it up. The Arkham Asylum. It escaped me. As soon as I turn off the video, it's always one of those things where it's like, oh, yes, that's the name of it again. So looking at possibly getting the Arkham Asylum, I think it could be a cool build. This is kind of a different end of the city with the superhero-esque buildings in here. They don't have necessarily quite the same sort of look in all cases as the rest of the Lego City buildings, but I think they're really cool, and I think it'll be fun to have them kind of clustered in one part of the city here. So we've got making sure everything's on mills, getting power running through those, finishing up our modular buildings and some of the projects that we had on the go here, and then starting to get new buildings moving into the city in general. Starting, but not necessarily limited to the superhero end of the layout here. We've got a ton of city buildings that we need to get built and put in here. Everything from, actual Lego modular buildings to builds from rebrickable, bricative, all sorts of different instruction sets that we've picked up. And one of the things that we will kind of cover as we go through that, we are going to end up with very quickly with more buildings than we have space for on this side of the layout here. And we'll kind of play that by ear as it starts to come together. But I'm expecting that some of these buildings will go into the lower layout that we are working on the bottom part of the tables there. There'll be some spaces for buildings that can live down there, which will be fun. And some of them will probably go into the new display sections that we're going to be opening up on the back wall here, which will be nice as well. It'll let us sort of appreciate them and see them in behind there, but it'll also keep them in an easy to access location so that we can get to them and move them around if we want to and get things swapped in and out of the layout. And that's one of the big things in general that I'm looking to do with everything being on mills and hopefully having a fairly consistent power sort of layout in the mills modules themselves. I really want to make it so that it is easy for us to swap things in and out of the main tabletop city as as we feel like it, as we change seasons or have different, sort of times and events that pop up. I want to be able to easily move things around from a building perspective, get things into the layout, get other things out to the display area. So that's kind of the overarching idea and plan in the background to make our buildings as easy to move around and power as possible. Obviously, at some point, I'd love to have even more space where we can have all of the different buildings available and in the layout proper. But I think that's kind of the best plan and approach in the short term. Now, another important part of the city is the roadways. We've had a couple of different types of roads that we've been talking about and working with throughout the city. And I expect that to largely stay the same, but we've been over the last, it's probably, I guess, a couple months ago now, I went through and put together a whole bunch of additional road plates using the brick-built road approach. And I want to start getting those into the layout here and starting to build out the sidewalks around that and getting the roads moving to a more formal place. With that will come, getting all the power worked into them appropriately as we are working on the power for the city in general here. Obviously, it's going to be important to have the power running underneath the roads to get to other city buildings or to get to the tracks in behind there. So kind of a good time to work on all of this together. But we've got, what is it there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, maybe 13 road chunks there that are ready to go in. That's going to give us a nice big chunk of roads throughout the city here. And we've got more parts ready to start rolling with that as well. Once we get past the initial pre-built ones that I have over there. So that'll be nice. That'll start to sort of give us a nice consistent look as we go down the city. And big thing I'm aiming for in, as we go forward in the next 4 weeks, 5 weeks here, as we're pushing forward, really want to start getting all of the wires tidied up, located, get them in underneath the mills modules, underneath the road plates, etc., and really start to tidy up the city here and get everything looking much more integrated and sort of tightened up and polished throughout the city. One of the things we won't go into too much detail on today, but I think it's important to call out because we've got a few of them on the layout currently and many more sitting in boxes, sitting on shelves in the sort of planning stage. As all the roadways start to get finished up, I want to have more and more vehicles throughout the city. You can see we've got the 2 Lego trucks down here. We've got the Toys R Us truck down farther that way. Really want to start getting these roadways and city buildings to the point where, we can have a variety of vehicles throughout the layout, have some, air vehicles, whether it be airplanes, helicopters, etc., moving above the city and really start to build out some of those scenes and the extra bits of polish around the layout that I think will really make it pop, especially as we get more and more lighting through the scene as well. I think we'll have a lot of opportunities for polish and coolness, both in a fully, sort of room lit daytime situation like this, as well as in the sort of nighttime street light lit situations as well. So tons of stuff planned. We've been talking about this for a bit, and hopeful that we've got a nice chunk of time here where we can really start to sort of finish off a number of these projects and move the city along in what should be a really cool direction. And with that, really happy we've got a whole bunch of Mills modules ready to go there to be the foundation for a number of these buildings that are already in the city or that we will be putting together. But excited to advance this part of the layout farther along here. Always lots of projects to do around the room as a whole, and lots of things still to do through the industrial and rail yard area in the city. But looking forward to not only, sort of finishing off a number of buildings that I think will be really great additions over here to the city side of the layout, but also really looking forward to opening up some additional space around the room and some of our storage areas as we get these buildings finished up and in place on the layout here, which will clear out some boxes and stuff that we have around the room, and like I said, some of our storage areas. So a lot of work ahead over here, but I think it's going to look really amazing as it starts to come together, and it will be nice to end up with, I think once we get some really clear templates for how the buildings are going to keep plugging together, how they're going to interface with some of the road modules, I think some things will really start to move, quicker as we get some of those sort of foundational pieces proven out, ironed out, and work through the backlog of parts and lights that we have for the city over here. Now, if you have any thoughts, suggestions about buildings that you want to see in the city, ways that we should organize the city, or maybe particular sections of the city that we have not talked about that you think would be cool additions there, make sure to mention them in the comments below. Lots of stuff coming up here, but definitely a lot of opportunities, I think, to add to it and grow this part of the layout as things start to come together. Now, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please make sure to do so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. And thank you very much for watching. We will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.